Welcome back, all you delicious little caramel delights, you thin mints, you peanut butter patties, you. That's right, it's Girl Scout season here in the United States of America. And to celebrate the Girl Scout season, we are going to be bringing you a Beyond All Reason cast that is absolutely insane and beyond all reason. The map is going to be Tabula Remake, and those of you coming from the Forge Alliance Forever community will recognize this map as, I believe it's Tabula Rasa. And this is going to be extremely special as we can see the different ways that a map is played, especially whenever you're comparing Forge Alliance Forever versus Beyond All Reason, which is kind of what I am going to be semi-inclined to do just because I cut my teeth on Forge Alliance Forever. So let's get in and introduce our players. We're going to call this Team 1 on the left-hand side of the screen, this Team 2 on the right-hand side of the screen. If I can stop bumping the edge of the map, We'll start here at the northern side. We've got Squall 972. He's going to be going Armada, opening first bots. Next, we've got Zerpy Derpy Derp, who is going as the Cortex, opening first bots. To the south, we've got Firestorm, and he's going to be going as Cortex and is yet undecided as far as his first factory. Rotty, I almost called him Riot. Rotty 79 is going Armada to the south, going first the vehicles, actually switching things up a little bit. Next, we've got Hunter, who is going as Cortex. That's going to be weird because my first name is Hunter. Who is going first bots. And continuing with our southern trajectory, we've got Telons, who is going Armada, and he opened first bots. Elmer Fudd going Cortex. He also opened first bots. And then Bing Bang Bang. We've seen him in a lot of different casts. Not chosen his first factory yet, on the way to the middle. Moving on to team number 2, before things get kicked off, we have Scipio Africanus, the Great Legion, the leader of legions in the, the second Punic War? No, that was the third Punic War, so all you history buffs are screaming at me right now. He's going to be going as the Armada. He's opening first bots. And this is one of the very unique things that you'll see on this map is he was able to start in the water here and already get a foothold on this kind of peninsula plateau kind of thing. But let's continue introducing our players. So we've got Sigaro in the rear going as the Cortex. He opened first bots. Bots can traverse this water area to get across to support his teammate. We've got Metamind, who is going as the Armada, I believe. Yep, I'm recognizing that correctly. Going first bots. And we'll finish up the introductions here as we've got Morowar, who's going Cortex, and he's opening first spots as well. Iridium going Cortex, first vehicles. We've got Mac 675 whipping up some delicious Big Mac light laser towers there in the middle. He opened first spots as well. And last two, we've got Alice, who's going Cortex on the middle position. He opened first spots. And then we've got Kuel, who has opened first spots. I don't know if I pronounced that correctly. I hope I did. But one of the things that I'm really excited about within this map is taking a map that I believe was built for Forge Alliance Forever, throwing it into a different engine with different mechanics, different rules, and seeing how things play out. And we see here as Alice is getting rather unhappy with the fact that Elmer Fudd is getting all up in her business here, dropping down a guard light laser tower. Up to the north, we've got Telons and Bing Bing Bang tangling in with Mac 675, the lovely, delicious Big Mac with that secret McDonald's sauce, which is really just Thousand Island dressing, as we all know. Up to the north, Metamind, as well as Firestorm, tangling and getting a defensive line set up. And Scipio Africanus, his legions nowhere to be found, getting actually cornered here by Zerpy Derpy. Does have a little bit of support there from Sigaro, as Zerpy actually suicides his commander, and that's going to give Scipio a little bit of breathing room there. And I appreciate all of you guys in the comments below that told me about these erasers. I was looking for a hotkey combination. As you can see, a bunch of pings going down across the map. Right now, lots of explosions, but a lot of it is due to light laser towers just getting set up in their kind of defensive perimeters. We do have a couple of Rocketeers pressuring a defensive line. is going to be Bing Bing Bang's defensive line there, as he's trying to actually get up a vehicle plant in the background. The vehicles, of course, much stronger than bots, as we see Alice batting away a bunch of grunts as they overwhelm the light laser tower that she had set up. Zerpy Derp has already called GG. It's apparently game over at this point. And we've got some pings going down, directing
an allied commander has died.
Units up to corner Scipio and what legions he has on that plateau. That was a pretty aggressive play there from Scipio, and he is potentially going to pay for it here as the commander getting surrounded by Pee-wees. I'm blanking on the new name. Not grunts. Oh wait, it is grunts. Oh, grunts are the AKs. Down here, Rocketeers continuing to harass Bing Bing Bang's position as Alice has once again defended the plateau. Scipio is looking a little thirsty there. And Zerpy Derp's units are oh so happy to oblige and shove him off that cliff and say, well, let's give him a drink then. It's my best Gerard Butler impression. I'm not British. I can't pull off a British accent very well. And if I try, every Brit or every citizen of the United Kingdom will immediately unsubscribe from the channel, so. And we actually paused that for a second because I realized that my in-game monitoring tools were still going, so you guys were able to see my CPU, GPU utilization over the mini-map. I apologize for that. We have rectified that error, though. You guys are looking for a professional production. You've come to the wrong spot. So we've got a bunch of missile trucks being pushed out from Bing Bing Bang's newly minted vehicle factory. Rocketeers doing battle as we have a couple of brutes, some medium assault tanks from the Cortex, I believe. And making their way up to the north, they're going to run into a light laser tower battery of their own. One nice thing about vehicles, though, is they can roll over these LLTs relatively easily. You need a good amount of LLTs to stop vehicles. That's a lot of interesting diversity here. And what's interesting is, as we zoom out here, it still kind of mimics the way Forged Alliance Forever is played, where Team 1 has kind of got this half of the map and Team 2 has kind of got this half of the map, even though you have the additional dynamics of bots being able to cross at Tech 1. You don't have to cross and build a fire base on that opposing plateau. Commander, though, does have to be on alert, as Elmer Fudd is experiencing right here. He's got a series of grunts moving their way into his base. He'll be able to deal with most of those. He's going to miss one of them. Hopefully he doesn't miss that for too long. Buildings don't... Okay, so he queues up a reclaim order there. He's going to lose an energy storage there. That's not too good. Does hang on to that metal extractor, though, which is fantastic. Now Big Mac himself beginning to lose ground here in the middle.
An enemy commander has died.
And I'm not quite as concerned, honestly, with commander kills in this game as I would be in FAF. Mostly because people are just like, they play with their commanders fast and loose. I believe that was Elmer Fudd's commander. The other thing is, it's very common in team games, and I did not know this on my last cast, but it's very common in team games to Control K your commander or delete your commander. I can't remember if it's Control K for the reclaim in bigger team games. Like, that's just a common meta thing to do. And you can see here with Elmer Fudd with a reclaim bot reclaiming his commander wreck down here, sinking to a watery grave. Just one of those things that really sets Bar apart from both Total Annihilation as well as Forged Alliance Forever, even though all of those games kind of come from the same brainchild. The devs over here at Beyond All Reason have definitely put their own spin on things, and I think have done a great job at building a unique experience. As Bing Bing Bang losing his forward vehicle factory to a series of thuds brought in by Alice. Alice backing these up with some grave robbers, the reclaim bots for the Cortex. So look at that, I'm learning my unit names slowly but surely. Meanwhile, up the north, Metamind dealing with pushes from both Zerpy Derp as well as Hunter. That are Squall 972. These people pick names that are so close. That is Squall. So Squall, a couple of Rocketeer bots, and that's going to be Metamind actually being ejected from the game. As far as his commander goes. Incidentally, Scipio has been completely ejected. You can see he's got no engineers, no commander, anything like that left on the map. That marks his
You've received new units.
his ejection from the game.
You've received new
Is in the middle here. We've got a series of brutes tangling with some stouts, as well as some shell shockers, the light artillery vehicles. All those belonging to Roddy. Roddy 79, who's 10 away from an epic number. We can forgive him that. I'm still undecided as what my... Oh, and I'll hold that thought actually. As this push is still causing problems here for Team 1. As more are running into issues and threats in his base. Siguro having to come down with a couple of artillery bots to defend, as well as a couple of grunts, the lab equivalent, but kind of your semi-main battle unit if you're building out of the bot factory, at least early in the game. Moror's base looking a little bit more healthy now that he's got some help coming in from Cortex. Max 675 still under pressure here in the middle, actually pressuring with Alice's backup, and Telon's taking a good amount of fire from a series of hounds, mortar bots stationed up on the ridge. The spring engine does give additional range to units that are stationed up higher. Telon's barely escaping with the skin of his teeth there from the hounds of Alice. Doesn't quite have as much of a... Doesn't quite have quite as impactful of a ring to it as the hounds of Isengard. You know, Isengard versus Alice. Isengard versus Alice. Either way, Alice, though, being very menacing with these hounds up on the cliff has really caused Bing Bing Bang some huge issues. He's only got one metal extractor left and a handful of wind generators. That's his primary base gone and dusted. Alice trying to reclaim what she can there.
Has died.
Enemy commander down. So we can see up here, and this is really what I'm going to be focused on, is 5 commanders to 5. So we still got 5 commanders available for both teams, and I think this was actually Squall control King, his commander up here in the north. Yeah, you can see, rest in peace, Squall, as he brings in a couple of construction bots to reclaim that. But what we should be focusing on here is the push going on in middle. That's coming in from Hunter, who's got a couple of pyros as well as some light assault bots. Fiends, I'm sorry, not pyros. Not a whole lot of HP though on them. Not a whole lot of meat on those bones to get cut. You like that, Sarge? I'll know if you're watching because you're going to comment about that down in the description below. Vehicle push as well as pawns, that's right. Pawn is the name of the Armada light infantry bot. The light laser towers in conjunction with the brutes and the pawns, able to drive that little advance off there from Roddy. Yes. Telon's is speaking to me. Up in the north, we've got what I believe is our second emergence of T2 there from team number 2, with a couple of Zeus, the lightning assault bots, making their way up to storm this position. Need a little bit of backup though, as they don't have enough range to deal with all these longer range bots effectively, and you'll see them begin to begin to withdraw. And those are welders. Sorry, not Zeus. I learned all the names as Total Annihilation names, and then they changed. So, yep, still gonna have to learn. So we got a battalion of fiends advancing down on the south out of Elmer Fudd. And they seem to be a little tired of this coastal torpedo launcher. I don't really know what that torpedo launcher was accomplishing. There's not really any Navy in this game. I guess it could cause problems with the bots running over. You'll see the fiends absolutely eviscerate those enemy units. Of course, friendly fire is a thing in Beyond All Reason, and you'll see these fiends causing more damage to each other than they are to the enemy. Elmer Fudd lost most of those units due to his own units not being very judicious with where they're shooting. But either way, Alice is beginning to struggle maintaining her foothold on this little beachhead here, as more fiends begin crawling their way across the lock here. I don't know if that's a lock, because it technically has like a small river. Is that a lock? Yeah, it's a lock. The fiends are doing their best interpretation of Nessie here. Crawling up out of the water to devour whoever opposes them. Though they're going to run into some issues here. So we've got a bunch of welders that are showing up there from Q. If I'm pronouncing that correctly. Or probably not, but we're going with it. And we have gunships now coming in from Elmer Fudd. Those don't seem to be doing all that much damage. I'm trying to hover over one to see what it is. Oh, it's a shock drone. Okay, so it's like a stun thing. So imagine a Medusa except flying, and it doesn't have any miss chance. That's what we're working with here. You can see a lot of construction bots as well as these cans. Well, the cans actually are not running into issues, but the construction bots definitely are. Or sumos, I'm sorry, not cans anymore. It's going to be a long process for me to get rid of all the names that I spent so much time painstakingly learning. It's more ores. Little defensive position here, coming under attack from a series of fiends from Zerpy Derp. And once again, there is not a whole lot in the vicinity that can shut this down. We do have a twin guard, kind of a crowd control tower. But they could bag Mac's commander here, quite honestly. Pretty easy. Okay, Mac is actually just going to control K, his commander, and take out as many units as he can. Space is now coming under threat, though. It does have a pop-up lightning turret that's going to help a good deal. Firing out some of that chain lightning, going out of control. It's going to be the end of that offensive. Mac is still in the game. This forward base. He and Bing Bing Bang, as well as Roddy79, I believe, are the only three players that are still kind of existing on this little beachhead basin in the middle there. These guys just giving each other little love taps here. They can't shoot underwater, even though they can walk underwater. But what can hurt them is the Hounds of Alice that are firing down from the ridge. Now we've got the Fiends going to work here. And Alice's Fiends. Not quite up to the task. It's hard to say Alice is anything, and it sounds menacing. Like, even if I was to say, like, Alice's Demolisher. Alice sounds like such a sweet person. Like she's in Wonderland. She's talking to the caterpillar with the hookah on his back. She couldn't do anything wrong. Alright, let's take a sec. Let's look at eco here. Wow, these two teams mirroring each other almost at 171, 172 versus 171 metal produced. Energy kind of in the same boat, 4.9 million versus 4.5 million. So we got less than a 10% difference between the two teams on both metal and energy. Because we have a pop-up plasma artillery now there. We've got a geothermal plasma battery though. Geothermal, especially with assistance, should win against the Persecutor. They're having problems getting a firing solution on it. But Cerberus, this time it's an artillery battery, is not to be denied. And ends up ending its persecution.
You've received new units.
I would go turn that off if I knew quickly where to find it, but I don't know quickly where to find it. I know the general area. Actually, you know what? We're going to pause it real quick. I'll go turn it off. I'm going to cut here. Alright, that was way easier to find than I thought it would be. I probably didn't have to cut there. Maybe I won't. I'm lazy. But let's take stock of where we are from a tech standpoint. So, got some fusion reactors that are coming up there for Hunter, the master that he is. Oh, I know. Thank you so much for noticing. Advanced bot labs coming up for most of the players. Pretty much everybody is at Tech 2. We do have an attempted bomber run here from a bunch of whirlwinds. They are, of course, running into, I'm forgetting the name of that, birdshot flak air cannon. Only a handful of them are going to make it through. Going after this advanced geothermal power plant. That is not going to be quite enough damage to wipe that off the books. Asset still has depreciation left in it till the last run of bombs ends up taking out a bunch of the wind generators downstream, as well as the fighters, or the bombers themselves. And that's literally a Tsar Bomba run for you. Tsar Bomba, I believe, is the largest nuclear weapon ever to detonate. And the pilots of the aircraft were told, you probably are not going to survive this. As we got Stouts trading blows with welders here in the middle. You can really see how effective T1 tanks are. As they're not winning, but they're holding their own here. And as we've got the Sheldons coming in from the north. Those are Sheldons, right? Yes! Nailed it. Got the unit name right. This should be able to finish off the welders, or at least drive them home. Something to look for another place to work on. Alice really hates this spot. Yeah, Alice does seem to really hate that spot. She has thrown a lot of assets at securing this kind of southern side of the river, which is, to be fair, that's kind of her job. You know, and that geothermal plasma artillery is doing wonders up there. That looked like something big. I'm not seeing any big Berthas or anything like that. Unless I'm blind, which is very possible. I like how the trash talk exists in bar, but it's like much more civilized. Like, can I have a con? Question mark. Team play is not your thing, is it? That's so much more polite than that's so much more polite than what you get in your average dual gap game. Oh, and these are actually heavy rocket bots that are supplying this long-range firepower. We've got the Sheldons, whole battalion of them advancing across the river. The die is now cast. No, they're not Mortys, they're Sheldons. Stop confusing me. Erase that. We've got a series of mammoths, the heavily armored assault bots. T3 units just making their way onto the field. You can see the 2-3 units not even really having a problem with the T1. Doing a pretty good job of tearing through the pyros as well, but there are a hell of a lot of pyros here to deal with. Luckily, the pyros will kind of deal with themselves to an extent, doing almost as much damage to themselves as they did to the enemy. Zerpy Derp on the warpath here. He's got Sheldons, he's got anti-air bots, he's got radar jamming, and lions and tigers and bears, oh my. That in conjunction with the welders there from Squall. That is going to be the end of Moror's base. Potentially his commander and potentially his spot in the game. He does activate cloaking. See how long cloaking can hold out for him. Actually, it doesn't even appear to be taking effect as there is radar. I believe radar counters cloaking, if I remember correctly. Moror begins throwing out some D-guns to respond. We do have some fiends up at the top to provide some cover and kill themselves while they're at it. But Moror's base is done. He's only got his comm left to his name. That means that Siguro is really on an island here on his own. A series of what look to be scouts fly over his base. Mammoths are still pressuring in. That mammoth seemed to be losing an argument with the cliff there for a while. But it is not to last. So, huge hole punched in Team 1's production here. Metamind apparently still kind of in this game. He doesn't have his comm, he doesn't have his, doesn't have any engineers, but still technically in the game and does have resource production, as well as a light anti-air tower that I believe will make all the changes to the game. And Max 675 is also still in this game. We do have a Cerberus, a geothermal plasma battery, now from Alice, setting up in a much more impactful location. That is going to cause some threats there to Elmer Fudd's base. You have a long-range missile launcher as well. Saw a bunch of the power infrastructure go pop. And it seems to be either a range limitation or a scouting limitation thing. Although I don't know, the tactical missile launcher seems to be firing on target. It does look to be long-range missiles coming from Elmer Fudd's base as well. So this location not long for this world unless they can get some intel. That Cerberus needs to find something important. It needs to find something important fast. Our first anti-nuke of the game, I believe. Coming in from Alice on the front line. As well as a advanced metal extractor. An advanced armored metal extractor, actually. That's right, mexes can shoot in this game, ladies and gentlemen. Welders having to fight off fiends as well as pop up plasma artillery. The welders are once again getting persecuted for their trade. That is going to be it for Alice's potential last offensive option there. Things are not looking great for team number 2 now, as they've managed to stabilize. I have a feeling whenever we open this, we're going to see a pretty heavy disparity between overall metal generated. 383 versus 336,000. That's not what you want to see. Though we do have a series of fiends making their way into Roddy 79's base, taking out some of the energy infrastructure, quite a few pop-up lightning towers in range, though, to protect, as well as Bing Bing Bang's commander. As you can see, buildings are like dominoes that whenever one falls, they all fall. And Alice really did not like that spot, but that spot has now been taken over by the enemy. She is none too happy about that, as she has lost her Cerberus on the ridge, looking out to get up her own pop-up artillery there in the Scorpion. There are a lot of big explosions in this game. I feel like with every big explosion, something extremely important is happening. So we've got another run of Fiends coming in to Roddy 79's base, threatening Bing Bing Bang's commander. A couple of deft D-gun shots. Bat those Fiends away. That's what they tell you if you ever find yourself on the wrong side of heaven. Make sure you have a D-gun with you. Be able to get rid of all the Fiends that come your way. Either that or some good lightning gunships to lock them in place for your artillery to just nab them. As we have quite an artillery battery getting set up here by Roddy 79. Several gauntlets. Medium plasma batteries, which, if you're familiar with Total Annihilation, I believe these translate to the Punisher. All that being said, heavy rocket bots, the Arbiters of Succession, going to be able to deal with those gauntlets as long as they can stay outside of radar coverage. Another little scouting operation failed there from Elmer Fudd. As Hunter is saying that he is alone to defend mid. Well, buddy, you're doing a pretty damn good job at defending mid. Okay, you've got a ton of artillery, you've got laser towers, like, you're in a good spot to defend mid, okay? Don't worry. Well, and actually I say that, but we've got Razorbacks, Little Shiva. Little Shiva, she's my favorite one. Okay, as we take a break from sing-along time, making their way down, and those are from Iridium's base. Iridium been pretty quiet this entire game. Got his experimental gantry up and is cranking out T3 units like there's no tomorrow. We've got several Little Shivas out there on the dance floor looking to tear it up. I'm gonna go listen to some 38 Special after this. I've been listening to a lot of classic rock lately. I don't know if you guys can tell. As a series of sumos from Siguro do take out a good portion of the base there from Roddy 79, but not going to be quite enough to finish the job here, as Firestorm as well as Roddy's bases run deep and wide. There are defenses flowing deep and wide. I'm on a roll with my song references today. Not sure if that was a Control K there for Siguro, that he deleted a lot of his energy infrastructure, or if there are long-range missiles on the loose. But we do have a bunch of Little Shivas making their way across the pond with a lock, actually. That's right, we decided this was a lock. So the Shivas have now taken up the role of the Loch Ness Monster, making their way into Siguro's base. And similarly on the other side, we've got Iridium. Great minds think alike. Several Little Shivas out on the dance floor, making their way across the locks. Well, crap. I love that. But yeah, Shiva's coming in, and you can see here on the mini map, Zerpy Derp's Shiva's not in a great position to respond yet, or not in a great position to counter push. On the opposite side, Elmer Fudd gonna lose I would guess his entire base to this. He's trying to get a bulwark energy weapon up. I don't even think that would have been able to deal with all the Shivas that are on the loose here. We do have a bunch of hounds coming in from Telons. The Hounds of Telons. Sounds way more menacing. Nice calm bomb. Takes out a lot of the energy infrastructure there for Telons. The Shiva is still looking pretty healthy here, all things considered. And they have a pretty open door to sweep up to the north. Meanwhile, as we say that, Siguro, who's had slightly more time to prepare, but not really, is running into issues of his own. We'll have to watch this kind of from orbit here as we see these two offensive strategies unfold. Now we've got a bunch of fiends being utilized by both teams to deal with the Shivas. I guess that's the best way to deal with a little Shiva. Send a bunch of fiends after it. The Shivas, though, will be able to deal with part of the power grid. And watch all that energy go pop. All those mass converters go pop. Man, they just go like dominoes. It's so beautiful. It's so beautiful. I've already figured out what my thumbnail is going to be for this video. It rarely happens during the game. I usually have to think about it after. And it would look like Siguro has decided to bow out, transitioned his entire base to Mac 675. He's hoping Mac, with some of that beautiful special sauce, can save the stink that has embedded itself on his shores, but I don't think with all the special sauce in the world that Mac is going to be able to hold this line here. As the Shivas from Zerpy Derp come steamrolling onto the dance floor, taking out Mac 675, secondary base that he was gifted. And actually Metamind, it looked like, had some presence down there. Metamind's still in this game. Holy crap. He's got a bunch of pawns that are, I guess, good distractions and cannon fodder. But where's Metamind's base? Oh, it's right here. Okay, very cool, very cool. Meanwhile, we've got... Okay, I think that was a comm bomb there from Mac. Took out a bunch of fiends there from... I believe that was Bing Bing Bang. Bing Bing Bang, incidentally, I believe is set up shop here in the middle. Oh, that's cool. We can see all of their assistants and everything if we select them. That's awesome. Wait, can we see their cursor too? No, we cannot see their cursor. That's fine. That's fine. There's a way to do that. I'm probably not going to use it very often in casts, except for maybe like high-level one-on-ones. I don't know. I've got a lot of plans, got a lot of ideas for this game. Meanwhile, in the back, Kuehl has been pretty quiet. He's been building a lot of defenses, getting some aircraft up. But, oh no, he's been the one producing welders, that's right. He's been the representative of the welding union, the welders union. Because we now have got Karganeths, all-terrain assault mechs. These look to be kind of like the Vanguard, just for the Cortex, I believe. Iridium is Cortex, right? Yeah. That's Cortex, right? Yeah, construction turret. Iridium. Yeah, Cortex Commander. See? I've got it together, guys. We're all good. Either way, there's not... It's a little too late here. Quite a few Shivas, Grave Robbers grabbing the Reclaim back behind them. Even Zerpy bringing his commander over here to drop down some light anti-air towers. I put this game sound way too loud. I'm gonna be deaf after this game. But the Shiva's pushing their way in. Iridium's calm, actually, under cloak. Could get off some pretty good D-gun shots here if you wanted to. That's a good one right there. That's a second good one. Third, nicely done. Fourth, fifth. Does lose a lot of his commander's HP. And unfortunately, it looks like he's going to be losing his kind of build grid here. Moror is still in this game, apparently. His commander is down here at the bottom, but now that Iridium is collapsing, it's not going to be a whole lot that he's going to be able to do. Experimental gantry down into the red. He really cannot lose that if he wants to stay in this game. Though I'm not sure he's going to have the economy to hold it up anyway. Really trying to get a D-gun on these Shivas. Getting in range. Alright, I think he's got a good one right now. Go for it, buddy. Go for it. Go for it. Alright, just out of range. That's maddening. Gonna blue ball me with the D-gun? Okay. As Alice is actually bringing in a bunch of her own fiends from the north to try and clean out this infestation. Experimental gantry, though, does go down. I don't know. Once again, we got fiends kind of killing themselves, and whoa, that was loud. Almost popped my eardrums there. And I believe that was Iridium going poof, and he has now joined his compatriots in the spectator channel. Looks like we've only got 4 players left, but really we've only got 2 players left. We've got Alice, and then we've got Fuel. Alice actually doesn't look like she's going to be lasting a whole lot longer. Well, actually gets a couple D-guns off. Has some sharpshooter sniper bots in the background. Sharpshooter's doing great work at dealing with the fiends. Ooh. Alice's commander goes down. So we got 1 comm left, and that is Moror. Morowar. So now it does become a game of snipes. All things being considered, though, it would look like Q and Alice have kind of an insurmountable task on their hands here. So we've got a series of sharpshooter bots on the cliff, picking off the welders, picking off the fiends as they make their way across. It's a sniper's dream, right? A bunch of units out in the open trying to get across a beach. Might as well call that Normandy right there, considering we've got some defenses up there. Yeah, that's it. Storm the beaches of Normandy. Alright, never mind. Now I figured out my thumbnail. That's going to be my thumbnail. That's way better than my initial idea. My initial idea was going to be some little Shiva parody for 38 Special. Alright, so now we got some Razorback battle mechs coming out. I believe that was Zerpederp's commander going down. Yeah, so we're at 4 comms to 1 now. Alright, so there might be a little bit of life left in team number 2. As Razorbacks hit the field. I'm only slightly offended by the name Razorback as I went to Texas A&M. Gigamags. I don't know why you would ever call your pig as like your college rally cry. I'm blanking on the name. We called it a Wildcat at A&M. I can't remember what other colleges call it. Yeah, I'm only slightly offended. So yeah, Razorbacks suck, but they actually are like really useful in Beyond All Reason. Meanwhile, Elmer Fudd kind of rebuilt down here. Same with Telon. And yeah, so it's definitely shifted here where Team 2 was kind of hanging on to 50% of the map. And there was a little bit of wheeling motion that was going here. Now it's very much... Now Team 2 is very much starting to lose control of this kind of northern third to... or eighth to quarter of the map there. I still can't believe Metamind is in this game. Big Mac still has units on the field. He didn't control K or get those over. How very rude. How very rude. As Razorback on Razorback. Action ensues here. Okay, Control D. That must be it. It's not Control K, it's Control D. As Moral is asking if he should go ahead and leave the game. So he is the only commander that is left for... Wait. This said 4 a second ago. Why does this say 5 now? Okay, answers in the comments below. Can you build new commanders in this game? I know you can build like decoy commanders and things like that, but do those count as like a commander that needs to die in order to win the game? Please, answers in the comments below, because that would be actually something that would be very new. Imagine in FAF if you had to kill all the support commanders. Either way though, Alice still hanging on to this Cerberus up top. And is dropping plates as well as dropping Razorbacks. Actually, that's Kuhl's Razorbacks. On all the fiends and their devilish trickery. All their fire and flames. The Razorbacks have decided to not go through the fire and the flames. Decided to not invoke their inner dragon and have decided to move back. Where they're nothing more than a baby dragon, or I think something like that. What's a baby dragon? A hatchling? Yeah, hatchling. That's it. That's what we're going with. Alright, Razorbacks now advancing forwards. Here comes the fire once again. This time they wanted to go through the fire and the flames. Rather, the fire and the flames went through them. You have a bulwark energy weapon. This is what Elmer Fudd was trying to build earlier on in the game. There is a heavy laser tower, I believe, behind it. Is that right? Oh no, that's part of the bulwark. So you got multiple energy weapons there. You've also got a shield coming up, plasma deflector. Shields, once again, work a little differently in this game than they do in FAF. They don't block all projectiles. I believe they only block energy weapons, if I remember correctly. They don't actually block... Or no, they block shells? I know they block artillery shells. I'm trying to remember. There's some things that go through them. I believe missiles go through them. As gunships now terrorize Alice's base. Flying fortresses. The dragons. See, these guys, they're not hatchlings anymore. They have evolved past their hatchling phase. There's a good amount of anti-air here, though, for Alice, as well as some fighters. I believe those are only T1 fighters, so not hugely effective. And there's some AA down here in the lock down there. But either way, those flying fortresses are not going to make it home. The dragons will not return to see their babies. It's a very sad story, I know. But it is the way. It is the way. This is the way. Got several EMP missiles now coming out. Set to auto fire, but really this is where kind of the big push is happening. We got a couple Razorbacks here from Kuhl holding the line against Squall, against Zerpy Derp. We've got Hunter coming in the back door. Yeah, that's right. That's the only way I like to work, going in the back door. You know what I mean? Maybe that'll get me banned from YouTube. That was a little out there. So we got a bunch of skirmish bots coming in. And are they impacting on the shield? No, they're not impacting on the shield. But that is going to kill all of them. Whoa, my God! It's going to kill the entire base. As Alice throws out the GG. Q's base is pretty much donezo here. It looks to be long-range artillery somewhere over here. Yeah, Q's base beginning to go down. Nice little domino effect. Hey, finally paying off though. Yeah, there's not a whole lot left here. Warwar's Calm is sitting here cloaked. Takes some splash damage actually from the Shiva's rockets. Well, once all the energy runs out, there we go. Boom, baby. Alrighty, what a game. Zerpy Derp has won every single award under the sun. Destroying enemy resource production, enemy units and defenses, efficient use of resources, and in case these three weren't enough, he just kind of did everything. So, oh man. Oh yeah, but look, I was runner-up here. That's it. That's right. With a score of 69, you know what's up. Hunter was a runner-up with a score of 69. That's what's going on. All right, enough of the dirty jokes and song references and just poor humor and dad jokes. Overall, I appreciate you guys for watching. If you guys made it this far in the video, if you guys have a Beyond All Reason cast that you want me to take a look at, please message me the SFDZ file. You can attach it. It's pretty small. I think it's like a 1 meg or something like that. So you can send it over Discord. Send it to me directly. My Discord handle is down in the description below. I might end up trying to reach out and see if we can get like an official replay submission channel on the Beyond All Reason Discord. That'd be super dope, because whenever that showed up, there were a bunch of people. Whenever that showed up on FAF, there were a lot of people that decided to start casting FAF, and there were more casters, more content. It was just more love for everybody. Everybody was happy, and maybe this can happen with Beyond All Reason as well. Maybe there's somebody out there who wants to try their hand at casting and knows way more about this game than I do. Admittedly, you won't never be as funny as me, as the game kicks me back to my menu and you can see all the replays that I vetted for this cast. You're welcome. Okay. All that being said, yeah, it might be a good idea to set up a replay submissions channel on Discord. I'm not sure how that would work, considering there are actual files that are getting submitted, not URLs. So, well, I guess you could copy and paste the URL from the website and submit it. There would need to be a little bit of thought. There would need to be a little bit of thought going into the logistics behind that. But regardless, I hope you guys enjoyed it. Send me any files that you want me to take a look at for consideration in casting. My Discord handle is down in the description below. I think I've repeated that 4 times, but you guys have loved it every time. I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.